Starting March 7th, 16 students from Shanghai American School embarked on a new journey called Microcampus, traveling to Xizhou, a small town in Yunnan, China, and living there for 28 days. During our stay here, we studied a topic of high personal interest, interviewing the locals and researching more about our topic. I chose to learn about the Great Leap Forward, an important time in modern Chinese history that isn't talked about much, and learning about how the locals view this event. The Great Leap Forward, known as 大跃进 in Chinese, was a campaign launched by the Chinese Communist Party, an attempt to modernize China's economy, changing China from an agrarian society to an industrial and agricultural powerhouse in merely 5 years. The government introduced a mandatory process of agricultural collectivization, placing everyone in communes where they were stripped of the right to own personal property and where their individual lives were controlled entirely by the commune. At first, things were working out. The agricultural and steel production increased. But by 1959, things started going downhill, deteriorating into a severe famine that killed an estimated 20 to 48 million people. All the local contacts I interviewed all faced hardships and starvation during that time period, saying that it was the hardest years of their entire lives. They all shared their experiences with me, telling me about their stories back in the day, like when Mr. Du had to use rubber and a piece of wood to make a pair of shoes, or Mr. Yang's adventure of traveling to Sichuan becoming an accountant during the Great Leap Forward, and when Mr. Zhao went up on the mountains to develop Tangshan. They all shared their stories of hunger and poverty, but everyone has a different point of view on the causes of this horrific event. But to fully understand the different perspectives on the results of the Great Leap Forward, one must consider 3 different points of view: execution of the plan, natural disasters, and insufficient government planning. Poor execution of the plan was a point of view that some believed was the reasons for the following disasters of the Great Leap Forward. This was his perspective that Mr. Duan, a veteran, expressed. He thinks that the idea of a Great Leap Forward was a brilliant idea. The only reason the movement failed was because of people's laziness and their resentment of work. If everyone tried, the Great Leap Forward would have been a huge success. Mr. Duan, a man that is extremely loyal to Chairman Mao and the party, believes that Mao's ideas were good, but the movement failed because of the people. Mr. Duan said that no one dislikes Chairman Mao. Mao is a great man who made extremely important contributions to the country. Without him, there would be no China. The Cultural Revolution was one of Mao's very few mistakes and insists that he was 70% right. Many of my local contacts said that the result of the Great Leap Forward was because of natural disasters. Many of them called the Great Leap Forward the 3 years of natural disasters. This was the official government statement that the party told the people as an explanation for the famine. All my contacts didn't notice any change in weather, but insist natural disasters was the reason for the widespread hunger. Mr. Du said, "The natural disasters was a punishment from the gods above, but doesn't know what they are being punished for." Insufficient government planning was a reason that many believed was the cause of the Great Chinese Famine. This was the point of view Mr. Du and Mr. Yang expressed. They believed that the expectations of the party were unrealistic, too high for the people to reach. They observed their parents work day and night just to reach the government's high standards. Mr. Zhao, the Yangzhou security guard, recalls that the land that once grew 500 jinna crops were expected to grow 1,000 jinna crops, something that wasn't possible. Mr. He, the other Yangzhou security guard, remembers the commune leaders putting grains from multiple farmlands into one plot of land, exaggerating the production results to the inspectors, leaving the people with very little to eat. Back at that time, everyone lived in fear of the government. The government had a tremendous amount of control over the people. Anyone who said a comment against Chairman Mao, the Chinese Communist Party, or the movement would be labeled a rightist and possibly killed. Mr. Du, the antique dealer, said that over 90% of the people didn't like Mao or his ideas, but were too afraid to speak up. He added that Mao's wrongs were the right back at the time. Instead, Mr. Du liked General Peng Dehuai because of his honesty and bravery for standing up and saying that China needed to change. Similar to Mr. Du's ideas, Mr. Yang added, "It didn't matter if you agreed with Mao or not, you didn't have a choice." Everyone holds a different point of view on the causes of the famine following the Great Leap Forward, 3 of them being poor execution of the plan, natural disasters, and insufficient government planning. In the month that I have been here in Xizhou, I have been studying this topic in depth, learning from the oldest and wisest in the village. Having the elders in the village share their experience of the Great Leap Forward with me is not easy for them, and I am extremely grateful for their willingness to share about this dark time in their past. Listening to their stories, I heard about their struggles, their stories of fear, hunger, and poverty. This has helped me cherish the things that I once taken granted for, things that my parents have given to me and I haven't even given a second thought about. This incredible journey I've had in Shijo for the last month was life-changing. Being able to connect with the locals and learn about the local history and culture has been an amazing experience. It hasn't always been easy, but Microcampus has truly been an unforgettable experience.